If you run a web application, there is an increased risk of data breach. And with the terrible consequences that it can bring to your customers and your brand, software development and cloud deployment should be a cornerstone of your risk management and security approach. So how do you apply that when you build software as a service application on website projects with content management system? Let's get to it. Hey, welcome to this new edition of Digital Blitz, your short brief on everything UX, tech and compliance. I'm Sylvain Reiter and I'm here to help you succeed in digital by delivering better experiences for your team and your customers. With all the tools and frameworks in modern software developments, it's giving us greater speed, agility and powers, but it also comes with some additional risks. Because when you're architecting a new digital application, you want to make sure that every line of code that you write, that every feature that you build, is going to be guarded against compromise. And it's quite a complex domain, because it's not just the code that the developers are writing, but it's the overall ecosystem that the code will exist in, like the hosting infrastructure where it's running. And you need to consider both to protect the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of all the user data, the personal or sensitive files. You have to deal with the encryption, configure the environments, and enable secure administration with full auditing capability over all of this. So the security list is really, really long. But luckily, there are several standards to help us. From the OWASP guideline, they're highlighting the most critical security risk to web applications. There is the ISO 27001 for Information Security Management System, and also guidance from governments with the NCSC in the UK or CISA in the US. It gives us a good domain of knowledge, and derived from experience, we can ensure that everything remains compliant and safe. To remain as secure as possible for all our projects, this is how we deal with it in our agency. The most important is to build a security culture. And our ISO certification drives a lot of this, from the onboarding, the training, and regular improvements, making everyone accountable for security. We also use industry standards and follow best practices when developing code or using trusted sources that are peer-reviewed in the open source community. That's why we find a framework like Drupal and Laravel of global communities to always stay on top of the ever-changing threat landscape. We also developed our own processes for the most common tasks that we undertake on all projects. We have processes to deal with issues, and so we can apply SLA on bugs or security patches. And we also invest time in refactoring to reduce technical debt and improve the stability of our application so it can be extended and maintained effectively over time. We'll talk about that more in my next video. We also use infrastructure as code to automate secure configuration on the network between the server, the database, and the entire deployment pipeline for the stack. And for the most critical project, we invest in additional external penetration testing, because it's always good to get our work being audited by external security professionals, and it reassures our client. So as you can see, there is so much to consider when it comes to security. So once you have a minimum viable product and you need to scale your application, this is why you always need to consider hiring a large team of professionals to support your product development. You can have a great contractor, a great developer at a much cheaper rate, but if they don't understand the whole spectrum around security and the compliance requirements, in both the code and the hosting infrastructure, it's just a disaster waiting to happen, and you don't want that. So if you need help with planning, executing, or monitoring your security standards in web application or cloud hosting, leave me some comments below or get in touch. You can watch other videos about web development and compliance on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe to keep learning with me and grow your career in digital. Until next time, stay safe and see you soon.